So there are things that you learn from your grandmother, your mother, and something I realized I never learned how to do was to decorate our house for Christmas since we grew up Jewish. So I asked my friend Tristan Clovis, who is a designer in the home furnishings industry, to take me with her on a job as she was decorating someone's home for Christmas. Thanks for joining me, and can't wait to learn.
My pleasure. This is my favorite holiday. I'm so happy to be doing this with you. You're gonna love it.
So tell me what we're gonna do first.
Okay, so we're starting in the foyer because we want everyone to feel welcome. We want to make a big splash upon entering into the home, and it's gonna set the tone for the whole holiday vibe. So here we have an amazing landing, which is gonna make a really big visual impact. Generally, what I like to do is I like to start with greenery, and I prefer it to be fresh so that you have that evergreen scent as you enter the home. So this is very affordable. This was 35 feet and it cost $35. And there's a couple different ways that we can approach it. We can layer it, we can add lights, we can add berries, which I went ahead in the client's yard and just cut these. It's very simple.
Perfect, can't wait to learn.
Okay, great.
All right, so what do we need to do?
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove this. I think we have multiple ones here.
Okay, got it.
So,
all right.
So this is a bit of a messy process, so don't be afraid to get dirty. We can always vacuum and sweep things up. Okay, so we've got the garland in hand here, and now the first order of business is to figure out how much length we need. So I'm just simply gonna hold this here, and Ellen, we're just gonna figure it out together. How much of a lag do we want that to come down on the ground? And that's probably good. So one other thing to consider is there's probably 3 different ways that you could do this. So if you want it kind of buttoned up and real tight, you can place it here and secure it. If you want it very kind of punctuated and delineated, you can do them like real tight sort of bows this way. But because this client is a little bit more relaxed and kind of how they live their life, we're gonna do kind of lumbering sort of movement. Oh, it smells so good.
It smells fabulous.
Yeah, I love it.
Right.
It already makes the room feel good. Okay, so here we have our trusty little cable here, and it's green, which is nice, so we can hide what we're doing. So this is a very lightweight gauge, and I did the first one here, and I have an idea of how much I need, so it's about this long. Okay, so we're successful in getting the second one done, so I think we can continue the process. The next one, I think we can do right up there so that we can keep it kind of loose and informal, and then we'll continue all the way up there, maybe 2 or 3 swags total. And then this is pretty fast process.
Absolutely, and then are you doing the entire?
Yeah, and then I think we should continue because it's gonna be dramatic. Yeah,
that'd be beautiful.
So like that,
yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna secure this right here in addition to what we did on the corner, because now that we have the placement of the swag identified, we just need more reinforcement. This is looking good. I like it. Do you like it?
I do. And hey, I want to say something. I left this on today because I gave blood this morning, and I do want to say, should always give blood. This is a gift that you can give. It doesn't cost you anything, not only at the holidays, but I think it's every 6 or 8 weeks.
Wow.
My husband and I do it on a regular basis, and I challenge everyone to do it.
Okay, so now that we've both decided that we like how this is dipping or undulating here, and as I mentioned before, we wanted it to be sort of informal because that's who this client is. Now we're gonna go up to the top and we're gonna snip off the extra. And the only design tip here is that we just wanna make sure that we have continuity between what's finishing here in terms of the length and what we have down at the bottom. So what's down at the bottom at the foot of the stairs is just a few inches off the ground, and then we'll mimic that up here for consistency.
Okay, so Tristan, you've gotten the garland all the way up the stairs and into the second story. It looks great.
Yes.
You've made sure it's secure.
Yes.
And then you took some time to think about what else you're going to put in it, and found a extension cord. It happens to be neutral so that you can hide it.
Exactly.
And we'll figure out about that. You decided you're going to put lights on this.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because initially you brought out some lights that the client had, and I'm going to turn them on, and you can see they were LED. And
which is much cooler, and I prefer the warm lights. It feels more natural. This feels more commercial, and so we want to be more inviting in the environment we're in right now. So we're going to say no to this.
And yes to the warmer lights.
Yes,
and,
exactly.
We're going to put that on, and then you've also decided not to put any bows on as you were thinking about doing, but adding some berries that you had picked from their yard. So that'll be the next thing that we're going to do. And you're gonna, is this something you just put in? It'll be interesting to see. Do you have to?
It's just gonna be organic, random placement. There aren't gonna be too many, maybe about 12 or 15 total. And we'll use the same wire that we use to secure the garland. And then now we're gonna do our best to thread this through the garland and try to hide the wires as much as possible.
Why don't you do some berries and let's see what it looks like with the lights.
And so here I'm just pulling these off because I don't really need them and they're a little bit cumbersome. But do be careful because they do have, they're sharp. This is looking really pretty. And you can kind of be strategic in your placement and kind of get the light just right so it highlights the berries too.
So we are at day 2 of this install. Tristan had said she was going to bring someone to work with her on this, and I said, oh no, I'll help. And boy, was I in for an awakening. So for all of you who have done this for years, I bow down to you because I never knew what it took to do this kind of installation, and we have not even finished the entryway. One of the things that's interesting is as you're putting things together, it looks like you've brought some stuff that maybe I guess is from the family that they had, but also some stuff you bought. Talk with me about how you decided what to do for this. It's going to be the dresser, the top of the dresser, and finishing this area.
Yeah, so basically I always want it to feel personal. And so I usually peruse the house and see what sort of treasures are lying about that are so commonplace that the homeowner doesn't even recognize them as being interesting, or because they've just looked at it 1,000 times. So I'm fresh eyes, so I see things from a new perspective, and I always try to have something that's that has history and there's some historical relevance to the family that's meaningful. So in this case, I found this really beautiful dish that we just polished up, and it's got an insignia on it, so a crest of some sort. So I just thought this was beautiful, and I thought we could definitely put some inexpensive decorative Christmas balls in there. That was one thing. And then I found this beautiful cut glass here, crystal, and there's 2 different dimensions. I don't have a problem with things not being identical. I like things asymmetrical. It feels more organic and sort of collected. And then on this tray here, we have sort of a bevy of things from which to create this surface. But in general, you can see we have a theme.
Right.
So it's more impactful a lot of times if you stay clear with one theme. So like here, the theme is trees, and we're focusing on white and silver and gold, and we got these from different places. So this was actually the homeowners that we dug out from their collection that's been around for several years. And ironically, I saw this at Target. So, you know, everything that's old is new again. So that's kind of special. And then these items here, we got at Target. Very affordable. These we got it at home. And this feels old, which I like. It's this sort of acid, sort of mirrored surface. So it feels historical. And these we got at Target very inexpensively. And this was great. And you can get this at many places. You can get this at Amazon. You can get this at Costco likely. We happened to get this at Home, which was $12 for 50, so very affordable.
And actually, I was with her when we shopped for this, and we used coupons, so it was less than that. So that's fun also to do.
So you don't have to spend a lot of money if you kind of repurpose what's in the home. So, and then also again, sort of continuing on the theme of having live things, that always feels nice. And then just a little splash of red to tie in sort of the berries that are in the swag on the staircase.
You know, as you were talking about this, yesterday I told you I had on a tag that said give blood. Today, when you were talking about high-low, one of the things I decided to do was take old and new, and I put a necklace on that was low. My granddaughter made it for me, but I just thought, went for the theme. I love the idea of doing high-low and putting it together. So let's play. Tell me what you're going to do.
So a lot of times I try to start with the highest piece, because that's going to drive where everything else is going.
And you moved this mirror from another place in the house also.
That's right. So this was a beautiful mirror that was somewhere else, and I like the idea of having a reflective surface. So I don't know if you can see, but we're looking at the door. So when you walk in, we're going to be decorating that door with garland, and so the first thing you see is something pretty. So whenever you have a mirror, you want to make sure you're reflecting something pretty. You don't want to look at the ceiling. You don't want to look at something unattractive. So, okay.
And we haven't taken prices off because you might not keep everything.
Right. You know, maybe we don't like it. Maybe we want to take it back. So we just want to play first. This is also something that's kind of cool. This is battery operated lights, and they're very fine. And I have one that's already open here. This is what's inside. This houses the batteries. There we go. So this is kind of now we have to find a clever way to hide this, of course, because that's not very attractive. But this is a nice way to illuminate this family heirloom here of this cut crystal, and bring a little mood to the setting here.
You talked about putting garland over this front door that will reflect in this mirror also. Do people go really that far to really make a small entryway that much?
Yeah, I mean, every person is different, but you're literally decking the halls.
This is absolutely beautiful. I think what's interesting about this is I almost wish that the home could feel like this all the time, and it'll be interesting to see ideas that you might have for decorating your home year-round, and that it shouldn't just be a holiday thing. So first of all, if you will, send us any pictures you have of a beautiful spot in your home. I'd love to see them. Ellen at TheHome.com. Share those with me, and we'll share those with others. Also, give us ideas of what you might do with other holidays to make your home feel festive all year round. Okay, so we are kind of thinking that this is set, and you are moving over to the door. So talk with me about what you're doing here.
Okay, so we're gonna put the garland that's at our feet right now currently on the door. So there's two ways that we could approach this. One is we could have the garland go across here, but it might be cumbersome opening and closing the door. I like the architectural embellishment here, so we're gonna follow the silhouette of the molding all the way around, and we're gonna use command strips. Okay, so I've got my trusty command strips here, and one thing to consider in the instructions, it says they really need to be up for an hour before you hang any weight on it. So as I mentioned before, we are gonna follow the architecture of this molding. I'm gonna hold it in place for 30 seconds. And then we're gonna allow it to get a proper bond to the millwork for an hour so that the garland doesn't fall down. Okay, so what I've learned in the past that a lot of times these hooks are a little bit too shallow in the dimension here, and so we have to compensate because the garland is fatter than this opening right here. So to assist with the weight, we've got this is fencing wire, and these are cutters, and about 10 inches, maybe too much, but better to have more than less. And then I've got one up here already. And I'm just going to wrap it, twist it, and then I'll take the garland and wrap this wire around it to secure it further. Okay, the moment of truth. Okay, so let's admire our work here. This looks amazing.
Yeah, great job.
And it looks secure, and we have the length mirrored on the other side, and we have the garland is sort of arcing towards one another, so it's balanced.
Very pretty.
Okay, so now we're gonna add this wreath, which is beautiful. And it came this way. We did not make it. When you're trying to save time, this is a really simple, clean, but beautiful wreath. And we're gonna put this on the door, and the scale is important. You want something sort of big where the berries are placed.
So Tristan, talk with me about what you've done to kind of pull this whole section together and really put finishing touches on it.
So the tree that we purchased, both the trees that we purchased, we embellished with and decorated with that huge container of remnants that we had left over that we hadn't used. So I think it worked perfectly. We've got dimension, we've got scale, we've got shiny, we've got flat, we've got gold, we've got silver, we've got natural embellishments with the pine cones. We've got sort of a raw and a shiny sensibility happening simultaneously. So it's sort of an elevated casual.
Actually, for me, what I love is the old and the new together. So,
Yeah.
you know, certainly with the old chest, but this old wash bin that I love, and then bringing in some new colors and fresh looks. So beautiful, very pretty. Lots of greenery in this home.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay, so Tristan, this was a real adventure for me. It was a learning time. Thank you so much for letting me be your assistant and for teaching me. It was much longer than I thought, but I want to say it is magical. So thank you for all you did.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Area magical, but let me be a part of it.
Yeah, thanks for all your help. You were a big help too.
Tristan Clovis with Luster in Greensboro, North Carolina. If you like what you're seeing, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Send us pictures of things that you've done, and we hope you have a happy holiday.